So open up your morning light and say a little prayer for I. You know that if we are to stay alive and see the peace in every eye. She had 2 babies. One was 6 months, one was 3. In the war of 44. She thought it was God calling her. Oh, would her son grow to know his father? I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. I want to know right now, what will it be? I don't want to wait for our lives to be over. Showed up all wet on the rainy front.
95.9 WATD. Brian Stratton here with a very, very special interview today. We're talking to singer-songwriter extraordinaire Paula Cole, straight from New England. She's back in the area and performing music, writing, recording, producing, the whole ball of wax. Hey, Paula, how are you?
Hi, Brian. Thanks for having me on your station and for your support. I'm very well. I'm calling from Chicago right now.
That's great. Thanks so much for being on the show today. Long overdue. We would have loved in the past to have you on, but better late than never. And I'm glad that we're able to talk about some shows that are coming up. You're kind of all over the map these days. I mean, I know you're residing on the North Shore in Massachusetts, but you visit November 1st. You're in Natick at TCAN, the Performing Arts Center over there, which with a good friend of mine, David LaValle, who is runs the show over there. Also, you're in Maine, I think, a few days later. Why don't you tell us about those stops?
I have a few more concerts left this year. It's been a busy fall. I've just been in the Midwest, Minneapolis and Chicago. Head back home for my show in Natick on Saturday, November 1st. But after that, I'm headed to Anchorage, Alaska, up to a performing arts center there. And yes, and then finishing out the year, probably at one of my favorite venues ever is Carol Noonan's Stone Mountain Arts Center on November 22nd. Also Jonathan's in Ogunquit on the 21st.
And that's right.
Those will be my last shows of the year.
Okay, so you'll be taking a little bit of a break up until 2015.
That's right.
Yes.
I'll resume in 2015, and in the spring I'll be releasing a new album as well. I'm working on a new album now.
Now,
so
will that
just continually, perpetually in motion.
Will that be recorded and produced in Massachusetts, that album?
Actually, yes. I've recorded in North Reading with a wonderful engineer, Christopher Rival, and he's converted a barn to kind of brilliant specs. And I recorded with my original band, Kevin Barry, who's living in Natick. He's a Massachusetts guy, and Jay Bellerose on drums, who's originally from Maine, and they're like my brothers. I grew up with them musically, so I wanted to bring them back to record this album. And we have an upright bass player from Nashville by the name of Dennis Crouch. And Dennis and Jay were the rhythm section between for Raising Sand, that album with Alison Krauss and
does he play with Lyle Lovett
Robert
too?
Plant.
Does he play with Lyle Lovett?
So they're my songs, the original songs. It's pretty organic and acoustic. Not a lot of overdubs, live performances. So I'm really proud of the album. I think it's going to be wonderful, and that'll come out in the spring.
Well, let's not forget the last album you just did, which I was able to listen to through your publicist, Louise Coogan, who's a very nice gal in her own right.
Yeah, absolutely.
She's a great, great soul. And I got to listen to some of these tracks, which I was really very, very impressed with the songwriting about. I felt such a, I don't know if the word maturity's there, but I really love the direction the songs went. Not only as a songwriter, but even sonically, I thought it had such a beautiful sound from that studio.
Thank you, Brian. I'm in agreement with that. I'm proud of this recent work, and I feel like I've really found myself again. It almost reminds me of my beginning, and I'm off the major labels. I'm really happy to be off major labels. I like just having my freedom creatively. And with that undisturbed peace, I feel like me, the plant, I can flower, and I can write and produce myself better. So I'm pleased with the work that's coming out now.
Now let's kind of scroll back to your past, where, if I recall, I mean, your first album was Harbinger. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay, and I believe there was an indie label. Was it Imago?
It was Imago. They were kind of the best of both worlds, I guess. An indie label, left-of-center boutique label, but with major distribution through BMG. So they had Henry Rollins, they had Amy Mann's first solo album, and they had a couple of hip-hop artists, but they were pretty left-of-center. And me, they had me. After that, I went to Warner Brothers, and then I went to Universal. I've bopped around the place, and I'm glad to be off of all of them now.
Well, I mean, certainly when you're on a major label, there's certain expectations of the artist. And, being in radio and being a performer, producer, as I've been over the years, like yourself, I've seen the dynamic, and I've seen the differences of a major label. Of course, distribution is really, and promotion is what the major labels can really offer you.
Yes.
And that's really that's the devil you're dancing with when you're in that situation.
Absolutely.
And as it is now, I mean, I listen to your beautiful music, especially off this last album, and certainly it's a little tougher to transport that music into listeners' ears when it's independently produced, like by yourself. But we do live in the internet age too, where there's a lot of bells and whistles that you didn't have 20 years ago that you have in your harness now.
Yes, and though I tend to be old school and record a lot live, I am about real people singing real songs on real instruments and hearing some of that live air between instruments on the recording. I like that style. I'm not someone to go auto-tune and fix every little note in Pro Tools, but you're right in that we have the internet for direct contact with one's fan base through social media outlets, and I'm probably not the best there is out there for sure, but I do like to have a direct rapport with my folks on the other side of the internet. And I figure I would rather have a more modest fan base of integrity, they who appreciate me for the content of my character and my catalog, instead of just kind of always being prodded to sell more cookies. And I don't know. When it starts getting that big, it feels inauthentic, and I'm an introvert at heart, so it was just too much. It was just too much for me, and I needed a personal life too. I needed my family. I don't want to be only about my career.
Well,
so now it's a better balance.
There's no question a balance sometimes can do an artist and put them in such a different direction than they started out in. And you've had a child. Is it a 10-year-old child? Is that right?
She's 12. She's going to be 13 in December.
Wow.
I know.
My Lord.
I know.
So,
I remember being 13. It's not an easy age. It's just, so I'm really missing her now. I can't wait to get home and see her.
Now, how do you balance that out? How do you balance that on the road to being with her? Do you make sure you're not out a certain amount of time?
Yes, I have blackout dates. I have blackout dates for birthdays and Mother's Day and the beginning of school, the end of school, and I weekend it, which means I've really been concentrated in America, so I can handle flights around weekends. But I haven't been to Europe in a long time, and I miss that. I'd like to try to get back. I need to figure that out, Brian. I haven't figured that out yet.
That certainly would be a quantum leap in your schedule, I'm sure. With time zones and of course maybe you'd be lucky enough to be able to bring your daughter on one of those tours to Europe.
Right. It's usually been better. She likes having her life at home, but maybe in a few more years, certainly in a few more years, she'll be more independent, and I'll be able to have a different kind of career again. I don't see this as a fixed thing, one's career. It can mutate and evolve as needed, and I expect that, and I expect longevity from it. There are very few role models for me in this crazy business that we're in, especially female role models.
Sure.
There's just very few that have lasting marriages and lasting good home lives with kids.
Yes.
And long, successful music careers. There's just very few, and I don't really know how to negotiate it, so I'm just following my nose as I go on. But my favorite artists, they are still making meaningful music in their 60s, and I expect myself to do the same. So I think that what I'm trying to do is just make the best art I can make in a lifetime, and leave a good body of work behind. So it'll be about the quality of the music for me.
That's very good. We're speaking with Paula Cole, who is a Massachusetts native, and on WATD 95.9. Paula, this is a little off track, and I didn't mean to ask this one, but I have to ask, since you do have almost a 13-year-old daughter, what does she think of Paula Cole in her music? What does she think of this career? What is she, I mean, really, does she go to school and talk to her friends about this? Yeah, mom's kind of a traveling, touring artist, musical artist. I need to know this, because I have children of my own where when I go on tour or whatnot, they kind of roll their eyes and they go, okay, you're going to play with a bunch of old people and play for a bunch of old people. And so I got to find out if you're getting the same treatment I am.
Yes, I'm so annoying is what it is. I'm such an annoyance, and I'm even embarrassing.
Oh,
and
no.
For many years it's been, Mommy, stop singing. So, I understand. I go away psychically when I'm singing in the room. It's probably annoying and loud, and then I go away physically to tour. So it's a source of great competition. My love and my intention is diverted from her to music, and I think, though, that as she gets older, she's starting to appreciate it more. Her friends think it's cool and they're interested, but she's not. But I think she's a little chuffed somewhere. She would never admit it to me, but yeah, I'm an unusual mom. There's not a lot of me out there.
It's a little unorthodox. Yes, a little unorthodox, but it's it's really, I'm sure it's something she's very proud of, deep down inside, of course. But they can't let you know that, and
top secret.
That's a top secret, covert situation, of course. But what does Paula Cole listen to in the house that would drive her daughter crazy? What is your listening pleasure when you're turning something on? Is it like, are you listening to Joni Mitchell, or you listening to that kind of stuff?
Oh yeah, I tend to be stuck in the 60s and 70s a lot, but I mean John Lennon, the Beatles, Joni Mitchell, John and Joni right there is huge for me.
Right.
But I love great artists that are real seekers in a bunch of different styles. Like I love Bill Withers, and I love Stevie Wonder, and I love Bob Marley. I make it our personal habit to play Bob Marley before every single live show I do. We put Bob Marley in the house. I love his songwriting, and I think it relaxes people and puts people in a great mood before the show. And I love Kate Bush, and I love Peter Gabriel. I'm always interested to hear new music, but there's just not a lot that hits my heart the way some of these other singer-songwriters and artists do. Neil Young, of course. Love Neil Young. And I love jazz. I've spent many years with jazz, so Miles Davis has been a big influence, and Billie Holiday and Ella. Greats. I'm listing all the greats that we all love.
Sure.
And there's a reason why we all love them. They're just seekers, and they tried to make the best, most original music they could make. So I tend to stay with these icons.
Now, are you a fan of? I shouldn't say a fan of, but are you partial to like sophisticated harmonies?
Sure.
Do you like the tensions and the nuances that like a Crosby, Stills and Nash can bring, or does that kind of fuel your musical fire?
Of course, I'm always doing complex BV arrangements, and I love them, and I even in a more jazz context, like was it the High Lows? And if you listen to some, I can name songs from some of my albums, like Waiting on a Miracle or The Ladder, where, out will come a sophisticated 6-part vocal harmony section that I've done. I love that. I've spent time in a cappella groups with a lot of micro tension. I geek out on that stuff for sure.
Well, I think that's the connection of that 60s and 70s love too, is because I felt like back in those days, you really needed to know your 6-part harmonies or your 4-part harmonies. You needed to know your F and your G clef, and needed to know where these tensions went and where these notes went to form interesting, sophisticated harmony structures. And I can understand why in today's music, I'm right along your side with you on that. It's let's put it this way: it's a forever search to find that magic that has been attained through that music from the past, and hopefully, every once in a while you'll see an Amos Lee, who's an interesting character and artist, but. I wouldn't say there's a long line of them by any means.
I know. There's not.
But
in the meantime, we have a lot of great older music to listen to and continually be, inspired by. But I listen to music from every decade. I listen to music that was my grandparents' music. It doesn't matter to me. To me, music isn't about cool or what's fashionable and in. I listen. I'm seeking greatness, so.
Yes,
inspire me.
You're kind of one of the last of the Mohegans too, in my eyes, because you're actually a true musician, like a school who knows music theory. That can do melodic dictation, that can do solfege, can do quite a bit of that kind of stuff. Where if you look in today's or even in the last 20 years, I don't see those well-rounded musicians in the public anymore. It's kind of sad. Where I don't know if you think about this very often.
There are a few. There's a band out called Lake Street Dive that came out of Milne Conservatory. What is it? Aoife O'Donovan. She came out of the conservatory. So there are people on the scene now that are true musicians, and that's heartening. But yeah, I'm a certified music geek, and I really care about the music. I didn't do this so I could get a hosting part on a reality TV show or
yes.
act or sell perfume or clothing. I've been offered opportunities, and I decline them because my heart is in it for the music. I want to make the best music I can, and I think that's the most brilliant art form there is out there, and I dedicate my life to it.
Well, I mean, it's one of these things where it's an investment from birth almost. It's one of these, lifelong journeys that you grow and you always searching for that perfect album. Let's put it that way. And I'm sure that each album of yours, you probably listen to part of it and go, well, that's as good as as good as it gets. But then you start your next album and find out maybe there is somewhere else to go.
That's right. They're just Polaroid snapshots of you and your life at that point, and it makes a wonderful living diary of your life. Did you read Keith Richards' autobiography, Life? It was really wonderful. I like him a lot. Did you read that, Brian?
I have not been able to read that book, but I've been told by several, because we have so many people on the air now that everybody has a book these days, Paula. So, Graham Nash was on just shortly, and he had a book that was more, was double the size of the Bible. And I'm like, oh my God, I did get through it, but life is on. Life is on my. And there was a lot of Joni Mitchell. I should get you a copy of this, Graham Nash, because I have an extra one. A lot of Joni Mitchell information in there that you would love.
I'm sure, because they were very close, and they still are close. I know Graham because he was my friend for a little while when I lived in LA when I had my daughter. And he's a good man. What a wonderful human being.
He's amazing. I love
him. I really love him.
I've had a hard time finding, out of all the musicians that I've worked with, anybody who's as sweet, genuinely, as he.
I know it. He sang background vocals for me in the studio once and didn't charge me. He sings in his bare feet, and he's just such a doll. I just love him.
He's something special.
I mean, Our House was written for he and Joni when they lived in Laurel Canyon, and she declined his, he asked her to marry him.
Yeah, his proposal.
And
he was turned down.
Off to Europe and wrote Blue. The whole thing is so wonderful.
Well, I'm going to circle back into the. Some of your origins start with the Peter Gabriel tour, where it kind of. I don't know if it all started there, but why don't you tell me?
I had made my first album, Harbinger. I recorded that in '93, and on Imago, and they wanted to wait to release it. They wanted me to tour America, even though nobody knew me. They wanted me to go around America, which I ended up doing. Cadillac with a PA in the boot, and my boyfriend, who was my guitar player at the time, and we would just drive city to city to city all around America in this rental car.
Oh, boy.
Show up at coffee houses and play.
Sounds like a setup. Setup from the recording company.
I had made Harbinger. I was doing this, and Peter was given a copy of Harbinger pre-release through Kevin Tillen. And Kevin Tillen mixed and engineered So, and as a buddy of Peter's, and Kevin worked with me on Harbinger. And Peter, amazingly loved it. He was on his Secret World Live tour at the time. They were concluding their tour. Sinead O'Connor was off the tour at that point, and he needed someone to fill those big shoes and sing those great duets and all those beautiful songs. And I was a profound fan. I really lived in his music and adored his writing. He's truly an influence. So he heard the album and loved it, and he called me. He left a message on my voicemail asking me if I would be interested in joining him on tour. So I said yes, with great incredulity, and I flew to Mannheim, Germany, and had one rehearsal, one sound check in which I had to sing Don't Give Up With My Hero, and I was ready because I knew those songs inside and out, and I loved the band. And I was thrown out in front of 16,000 Germans that night on 2 stages, and it was a sink or swim, and I swam because I was ready, and I adored his music. So then we filmed Secret World Live 1 week after that, after my joining in Modena, Italy. I definitely look at that and see that I'm modest and shy. It was my first tour. I would come home from those gigs in Europe and continue my coffee house, regimen in the States. And So by the time we released Harbinger, I had done Woodstock with Peter. I was touring with Peter and coffeehousing it all around America. Then Harbinger was released in '94, 20 years ago.
It's amazing. I can't believe that. I mean, I'm thinking of the CD cover right now as I speak, and it just feels like yesterday. It's unbelievable.
Crazy.
It is crazy. And not only that is your next piece of work, This Fire, which came out at the beginning of 1997 with and it had a couple of breakthrough songs that made Paula Cole a complete household name overnight, and because of the affiliation with the television series Dawson's Creek, which we all remember, which was, that age group at that time was the main record buying audience. So that was quite a ride for you, I'm sure.
Quite a ride with a very steep curve upward. And it's interesting because Emmylou Harris said to me, "Paula, it just happened too fast." She said, "Well, I'm lucky. I've had this really nice slow plateau, this long-lasting plateau." And she's absolutely one of the few role models for me.
Okay.
Someone who's had a career of longevity and children. And she has had this very nice, long, plateaued career with loyal fans. And yes, Cowboys just came out of the canon and kept on going. It was ubiquitous for a while in '97, and then followed up with I Don't Want to Wait, which was a radio hit on a couple of formats, and it was a little bit later that Dawson's Creek picked it up, which nobody expected. I mean, I didn't expect it to be so huge. It became huger than me or my name, and then a slightly younger generation grabbed a hold of that song. So I have fans who are a little older due to the Peter Gabriel days and even just my earlier radio days, and then the Dawson's Creek generation, which is a little younger. I've got parents who turn the music onto their kids, so I have a lot of cross-generational fans. It's just great. Husbands and wives. So, getting to know my fans now, and I really do know them better now because I take more time with them. I meet them after the shows pretty religiously. I'm inspired. I'm inspired by the cross-generational aspect of it.
It's amazing. Yes.
Yeah, it's beautiful.
That the younger generation, the younger generation that's almost maybe 20 years or 25 years younger than you or I, they get it. They get this music. They understand it. They want it. They absorb it. And that's a beautiful thing. So
touching.
But so let me ask you this, because this is always an interesting, myself being on tour in the past, I've played with, national bands where they've had a couple of major hits, like top 10 hits like you have. I mean, do you tire of performing? And I know you probably get this, somebody requests, I Don't Want to Wait, you roll your eyes and go, okay, yeah. Or are you happy with it? What's your position?
My position is that of understanding. I understand that there's an expectation for me to perform the songs, and all my songs are like little children, so I'm in acceptance with the fact that I need to play those songs. It's okay. I just have fun with them, and the crowd loves it. So I'm really at peace with that. And that's fine. And I weave in my more artistic children into the set, so they really get a sense of the breadth of my catalog. If you're coming to a Paula Cole show, then you're going to get it all. You have the fun of the hits, and the nostalgia ride of the hits, but you'll also have meaningful work that's coming from new albums and stories. So it is kind of like a little family reunion when we get together for the concerts.
Well, it's funny because I that's what I like so much about your last album was Raven, correct?
Yes.
As I was listening through this, there were little stories attached and meanings, and they weren't. I'll say it wasn't a hard read. It was very easy to follow along, and the melody was so beautiful, and the chords intertwine well with the melody and the lyrics and whatnot. So I felt like if I was at a concert, I would be completely happy listening to songs that I had not heard before off of that Raven album, which is I think that's a real feather in your cap when you're a songwriter, that you can able to make somebody happy with songs that they haven't heard before, especially in a live setting, because that's tough. People get very antsy in those situations at times.
I understand. Yes. And so far, I find, well, again, I'm not playing huge venues. I'm playing intimate venues, and I do have a more modest fan base than I did in the 90s. Then again, remember, it took like almost an 8-year hiatus, which is a near-death experience in pop music.
It's
and welcome to motherhood, right? Like, it really radically changes your life. But what it has done is that it's kind of cut the fat out of my audience. Like, the people that are there with me are really there with me, are really interested in hearing the next album. So, I'm just trying to do the best I can do, Brian. Thank you for that comment about the song. If they can listen along and follow along, that's great. I'm really glad. But this is what it is now. I'm happy with it.
Yes, and I think there's a lot more people that listen that are happy too, and that's and that's a great thing. It's a very hard direction and a very tough navigation after you've made such a big splash nationally, to kind of invent yourself, or not invent yourself, but place yourself back into a setting of music when the music's completely changed, and the gimmicks have come in. I mean, we're in a time where it's more visual than auditory. Music is. Yes. It's completely. It's costumes. And don't get me wrong. In the 70s, look at David Bowie. Look at Hall & Oates. Gary Glitter. They all had that kind of. There was a phase in music where that happened too. But the music was never compromised at that point in the 70s. So they would do all the visual bells and whistles, but still on the music side, they would bring it. Where nowadays you don't see that much. So I commend you for continuing this wonderful music you're performing. And so let's once again, you'll be at Natick on November 1st, Saturday, and then Jonathan's in Maine. That's in a couple of weeks, right?
Yes, that's November 21st.
So November 21st in Algonquin, Maine, at Jonathan's. What kind of venue is that? How would you explain it? You can have dinner there, and the food is great, but it's essentially like a small theater, kind of listening room style. So it's probably the most intimate out of the places I play on. And Algonquin is a great place to go to, right? I mean, it's... Oh, yes.
Yeah.
I mean, that must be close to home, too.
Exactly. It's easy for me.
It's just a drive.
I'm lucky to be in New England and back in my hometown area. And it's wonderful to just have an easy drive to these concerts, and I can still have a personal life.
Well, that is a gift. That is definitely a gift. Well, we've been speaking with Paula Cole, singer-songwriter extraordinaire, from a Berkeley graduate too, of course. And you're listening to 95.9 WATD. We're going to keep Paula on the line after we get off for commercial break. Talk to you. Thank you, Paula.
Thank you.
My name's Paul Kearney, and I'm a small business owner and father of 3 here in the South Shore, and I'm concerned with the negative effects that casinos bring to our communities. Did you know within a 30-mile radius of a casino that crime goes up 100%, domestic violence goes up 42%, suicides go up, depression goes up, addiction goes up, divorces go up, and seniors are swindled out of their retirements? and local aid gets cut. That means firefighters, police officers, teachers, the people who keep us safe. Can we afford casinos? Is this what we want to leave to our children? I'm asking everyone to join me and vote yes on question 3. Stop the mess and repeal the casino deal. Call me personally at 781-248-8630. That's 781-248-8630 to find out how you can get involved. Or go to repealthecasinodeal.org and like us on Facebook. Please vote yes on 3 and save our state. Thank you.
The law office of Philip M. Markella is a full-service law firm with a focus on family and divorce law. When your marriage dissolves, Phil's office will help you navigate those often rough waters. They'll represent your interests with respect and compassion. The law office of Philip M. Markella also assists with estate planning, real estate transactions, and adoptions. Get in touch with the law office of Philip M. Markella, 19 Depot Street, Duxbury. Their telephone number, 781-934-7977, 781-934-7977, and on the web at markellalaw.com. That's MARKELLA law.com. Experience the Atlantis Sports Club difference. Atlantis Sports Club and Spas are located throughout Massachusetts, including locations in Braintree, Holbrook, and Hyannis, featuring state-of-the-art cardiovascular and strength training equipment, plus indoor and outdoor pools and full-service spas. Atlantis offers something for everyone. How about Zumba, spinning, and strength training classes, swim lessons for the kids, or a luxurious spa treatment? Your Atlantis membership allows access to all locations. Atlantis Braintree, located off the highway across from the South Shore Plaza, features beautiful indoor and outdoor pools. You'll find the newest Holbrook location next to Stop and Shop with plenty of parking and a spacious floor plan. Take a mini vacation at Atlantis Sports Club and Spa in Hyannis. Play golf, then relax by the resort-style pool. End the day with a relaxing treatment at the spa at Atlantis. Mention this ad and receive 20% off any spa treatment. Experience the Atlantis difference today. Visit AtlantisSportsClubs.com and book your tour today.
Hey, it's Brian Stratton, and I'd like to talk to you about Mamma Mia's restaurant. With 5 convenient locations around the South Shore, you don't have to drive far to enjoy delicious Italian cuisine, just the way you like it. Whether you're in Carver, Plymouth, Hanover, Kingston, or the new location in Green Harbor, Mamma Mia's is something to please any palate. Catering, gift cards, and takeout are available 7 days a week. Contact Mamma Mia's online at mammamias.net. That's mammamias.net.
Impressions Detailing of Duxbury is your #1 source for auto detailing on the South Shore. Owner Mike Ferreira and his staff have years of auto detailing experience. Located next to Duxbury Motor Works at 1474 Tremont Street in Duxbury. Impressions Detailing also provides window tinting and headlight restoration. They service sedans, small SUVs, and large SUVs or trucks. Contact Impressions Detailing at 781-934-2935 or by email at impressionsdetail@yahoo.com. That telephone number again, 781-934-2935. Impressions Detailing of Duxbury.
Divorce attorney Mark Green. Mark, how you doing?
I was doing pretty well, actually, until I started listening to your show about 10 minutes ago.
Beautiful. What do you got?
Well, I was really stunned at how much miscommunication and misinformation.
Beautiful. What do you got?
Well, all you need to do is play back the tape, see what your opinion is of divorce attorneys.
That's an opinion, Mark.
I understand that, but
Well, this is an opinion-based program.
I understand that, but usually opinion is based somewhat on fact.
Beautiful. What do you got?
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor.
Well, your opinion was there are a bunch of snakes. Look, you have, I don't know where you come from. I don't know what you do.
Exactly.
Probably listen to Fox, too.
The bottom line is, do you think the system is set up correctly?
Once again, I'm not so sure what you mean by system.
The court system. What do you mean you said you're an attorney? You don't know what a system is? It's a court system. Okay. Have you been listening to the show?
You can continue to talk, or you can listen for just a second.
Well, listen. Let them talk.
Can you name the judges in Plymouth County?
Sure. You want me to start? Judge Sabatis, Judge Roberts, Judge Stanton. Those 3 right?
Keep going.
Wait. There's only 4.
Who's coaching you? You don't even know who the courts are. You don't know who the judges are, and you come up with these.
I just named 3 out of the 4 judges. What are you talking about? Wow. All right. Well,
Wow, that was the first. That was the first. Like,
there's a divorce attorney for you.
argument I've ever heard. I mean, like, wow, that was.
Well, that's what it's saying. So sometimes it can get that confrontational. Sometimes when you're
I would want to just pay money just to tell him to shut up.
Please won't you be my neighbor? Hi, television neighbor. I'm glad we're together again.
95.9 WATD on a friendly Sunday, a snowy Sunday. And that was a wonderful time we had with Paula Cole, who is a Massachusetts native.
Great interview.
She's great. And she just performed last night in Natick at the Performing Arts Center to a sold-out show. So we support her and we love her music. We have a lot on the table today. We got Paul Kearney in the house. How you doing,
Hey,
Paul?
Brian. Thanks for having me, brother.
Great to see you. We're right up against it now. We have elections to think about. We have questions, ballot questions. All this madness over the last 2 months is basically coming to a head this Tuesday.
Yep.
We have
November
a lot.
4th.
Yeah, we have a lot on the South Shore. We have a lot through the state.
Federal government is the House, the Senate going to change hands? That's a big one.
There's so much to go. There's so much writing on all this right now, and all these ads we've heard, and all these politicians that are waving on the sides of the road, all the fruits of their labor.
A lot of labor.
Yeah,
a lot of work
man.
Those guys do.
I
mean,
tip my
out
cap to
there.
every single one of them.
And it's so cool because it's democracy working at its best and getting out there and trying to get your message out there and trying to make a difference.
Right. I see on the line we actually have Jim Pavlik on the line, who is running for state rep.
Right here in Marshfield, Situate.
Yep, Marshfield and Situate.
For your district, right here.
This is my district.
Get your vote, Brian.
Hey, Jim, how are you?
Yeah, I'm great, Brian, and I'm great, Paul. Thank you very much for having me. I'm down in Plymouth at the VFW. Charlie Baker just showed up for his Charlie Baker rally, and I'm in my truck, braving the weather out here. This weather is unbelievable for November 1st. How about it?
Yeah, is it a good turnout, seeing the weather?
It's a very good turnout.
Good to
a
hear.
lot of the other candidates for office are here. John Chapman for Congress, Mike Herr for U.S. Senate, Patricia St. Alban for State Auditor, Mike Heffernan for Attorney General, and a lot of state rep candidates and local candidates as well.
And my good friend Tony O'Brien.
Yep. Tony O is here as well. Yes.
Oh, you tell him I said hi, okay?
I certainly
We're
will, Paul.
supporting him. Just, I got to say, and thank you for your service. Both you and Tony have served bravely in our military, and I just want to say thank you. And I also want to thank you guys for going out there and participating in the process, because, as you know, it's something that needs to be changed, or if you want to have change, you got to go out and do something about it. And hats off to you for going out and do it.
Well, you're most welcome, Paul. I served 30 years in the Marine Corps. And Tony actually served in the Marine Corps first, and then he became a Navy SEAL. And it was a privilege and an honor to serve. And we both look at this as just another way to serve the people. And you're absolutely right. It's one of the biggest reasons why I am running for state representative, 4th Plymouth District, Situate, Marshfield, is because I, like a lot of people, am not satisfied with our current culture. And the only way you're going to change that culture is by changing the people who control the system that creates that culture. So that's the biggest reason why I'm running.
Thanks so much, Jim. This is Brian Stratton, and I appreciate. Thank you so much for coming at the 11th hour on the show. I know that probably the next 48 hours for you are going to be probably no sleep, and lots of this kind of campaigning. So I guess you answered my question, but I'll get a little bit more in depth. You're very successful. You've a serviceman for 30 years, which is, I'm always partial to those people who serve the country and then get into politics. That's a really, I know that's you're doing it with the right intentions. There's no question. What ultimately was the turning point? Because I know you're a pilot. Is that correct?
Yes. Yeah, I'm an airline pilot for American Airlines.
Okay.
I'm an international pilot flying a Boeing 777.
Okay, and that's that's a daunting job in itself. I mean, there's a lot of it's a lot of responsibility.
Responsibility.
Responsibility and work and time consumption. But what's the breaking point for you to say, look, I want to add more to my plate?
Yeah.
I want to.
Right.
I've already got a busy. I have a family. Tell me about it.
You're right, Brian. I took a little. I retired from active duty in not retired from active duty, but I got off active duty in 1990 to pursue my airline career, and then I went into the Marine Corps Reserve in 1992, and I served until February 2012. And during that period of time, I did a lot of traveling around the world, a lot of trips to Korea, training for war there, and I was mobilized in 2003 for a 9-month period for Operation Iraqi Freedom. And then I really look forward to retiring from the Marine Corps, spending more time at home with my family, and getting to projects around the house that I had neglected. But so yeah, I was retired for maybe 2 years, and I was presented with an opportunity, and I took advantage of it. I like a lot of people. There's some people I met out on the campaign trail. I'm not satisfied with the state of our state, the current condition of our state, and the direction we're heading in. My platform is, number one, I want to put people back to work. Our state unemployment has risen. It ticked up another 0.2% recently, from 5.6 to 5.8, and also lessening our tax burden. Fiscal year 2013, fiscal year 2014, and even this fiscal 15 year we're currently in. There's always been a tax revenue surplus, so $500 million in 2013 and 2014 alone. Right now, fiscal year 15, they're ahead of the benchmark, what they're projected to take in, at least $50 million. So there's no need to raise our taxes anymore, specifically the gas tax. 3 cents a gallon. That's what question 1 is all about. A lot of people may be a little confused on that. Question 1 is not whether or not the gas tax will go into effect. It's already in effect. It's the automatic increase of it every year that's going to be decided on the ballot on Tuesday. If the legislature wants to increase our taxes, and they should be accountable for looking you in the eye and raising their hand and pointing at you and say, yeah, I'm going to raise your gas tax 3 cents a gallon every year, which equates to an average of 15-gallon fill-up about $7.63. And additionally, the household income the family household income in Massachusetts has decreased 1.8%, and this gas tax, is just going to it's a regressive tax, and it's going to hurt the middle class and the working poor the most.
Yeah, it's true. Yeah, it's great that you say that too, because also we had Representative Jeff Deal on the show, and he was one of the actually him and Mike Sullivan got together to actually do this law, and to put it on the ballot was incredible. And he was just talking about, because you think of just the gas tax, but it really hurts small businesses, like our friend Tony. We had talked about where the price of produce goes up. I mean, there's so many things that are connected to that fuel charge.
Our food, everything that is delivered through ground transportation that uses gasoline, the cost is just going to be passed on to the consumer.
Yeah, and then the other one goes to question 2. Question 2 is another one that, I got to be honest, I sell water at my clubs. Yeah. I don't really want to collect another nickel. I mean, really? I mean, now I got to collect it, and what do I give it? It seems to me like a lot of people are recycling. I do see what they're talking about, especially with the Gatorade bottles, seeing them everywhere, and they do have a point where, people pick up the extra 5 cents. True. But that's another one that hits the families up for another $1.20.
Another tax.
It's another tax.
And they're banking on you and everyone else not turning in those bottles.
Right. And here's another tax for you. Question 3 is the casino tax. And that's going to be a tax for us. We're all looking at, there's going to be some positive ends to a couple jobs. But actually, it takes away jobs, because the average person that's a dependable, addicted gambler costs taxpayers about $11,000 a year. So there's another tax that, to me, is more important than all of that.
I'd like to get Jim's position on question 3 with the repeal of the casino. Do you have a position on that, Jim?
Yeah, I know what Paul's position is on that, and the way I look at question number 3 is people are going to gamble regardless. People from this state are going to gamble either out of state or in state if there are casinos available here. And so I look at from a practical standpoint of why should our dollars leave this state to help out our bordering states like Rhode Island and Connecticut?
Right.
People are going to gamble regardless whether the casinos are in Massachusetts or not. But that's why I think a couple of well-placed casinos in areas where they'll inflict the minimal amount of collateral damage,
right?
Per se,
Absolutely,
absolutely.
The only thing is, though, Jim, in this bill, and that's why I would ask for most people to look at the bill, and it's really basically for 3 casinos. Now you've got 2 more that the tribal Indians can come in, so there's 5 plus a slot parlor. That's 6. Now that you're talking, the only way to get people to gamble is to make addicts out of them, because 50% of their revenue comes in from addicts.
I
agree with you.
If there's if there's too many out there, then none of them will make any money.
Right?
Exactly,
and that's where that's where the card deck crumbles.
Right. And most, I'll tell you, be honest with you, I've been hearing a lot of people saying yes, no, being on the decisions of conservatives, and then liberals. Liberals are people that are concerned about the poor. They're not voting for it. They're voting for the repeal, and I think it's going to be an interesting question because it's, first of all, for me, it's a moral issue. I think that we shouldn't be preying off people that are, and most of it's going to hurt the poor, and that really, I don't appreciate us saying that we're going to make money or the state's involved in the government. And you're a conservative as well, and I appreciate that. And a lot of conservatives that voted for Mark Price, was it Mark Price that ran against Charlie Baker?
You mean for the primary? No, it's Fisher.
Oh, Fisher. I'm Mark Fisher, correct?
Yes.
Yeah, he was totally for repeal, and that conservative part of the base is basically for the repeal. So that's interesting because you got the.
I understand there are some social issues involved there. Perhaps, like I said, if you can. Too many casinos. I think 1, 2, at the most 3 strategically placed throughout the state is okay.
Right, but that's what I'm saying.
You said about an additional 2 or 3 on an Indian reservation, then you're right. No, and then none of them will be profitable, and then you spend all the money to build them up and only have to tear them down when they're not successful.
Exactly, and that goes to small business owners because they're the ones that are going to get the burden. When they lay off the employees that build these or the union workers that build these for 2 years, they lay them off on us, small business owners, not people that. What people don't understand as employees is you guys don't pay into that unemployment insurance. The employer pays into that. Right. So when these big unions dump all those employees off on us, there's no relief for us. Do you see that, Jim? Like, this is going to hurt me as a small business owner. And to be honest, this whole district is small business owners. There's more small business owners on the South Shore than any other part of the state.
Oh,
so you're speaking to us.
3 out of every 4 new jobs in this state, and maybe it's even more. Well, it's pretty hard to get more than 3 out of 4, but 3 out of 4 new jobs are created by small businesses in Massachusetts, and 86% of all the businesses in Massachusetts have 19 employees or less.
Right.
So you're right. The predominance of jobs in our state are created by small businesses.
Well, I hope you're Jim. I hope you're successful.
I know you guys are taking a big hit on that for the small business.
Right, and I hope you're successful up there because we really do need, as small business owners and family men, we need some better representation because it's not working for me out there. It's not working for me to pay all these high unemployment insurance rates and employee rates and matching everybody's Social Security and doing the right things and trying to employ people and trying to give out bonuses and keep them motivated. I mean, I got to be honest, and Brian and I say this all the time, the only ones that ever when you do a charity event, we're the ones that show up.
There's no question. The small, to me, I'm the president of Citizens for Children's Safety, which is grown and grown. But anytime I do a fundraising effort or an event, the only people that actually stand up and donate are the small businesses. I don't get Stop and Shop. If I do, I might get a $25 raffle gift card as a token. Please get out of my face. Stop asking me the same question over and over again. Or a large bank, like a Bank of America. I mean,
right.
Jim,
Brian, also, question 4 is going to be a big impact on small businesses also.
Right.
With the mandatory sick time.
And that's amazing. That's a very interesting. That is going to be a defining moment for a lot of these small businesses, because this show is based around a lot of things. But we definitely talk, and I was talking to Paul about this. Say you're in the middle of a divorce and you're going back and forth to family court with your ex or your former wife or whatever, and it's eating up all your sick time, and the employer actually has to pay for that.
Yeah.
I think that's kind of unfair for an employer to have to take the burden of that at times.
And again, if you see where it's at, I think it's under 11 or 15 employees.
Yes, it is.
So here you are at 11 employees. You could do 12, but you know what? If I do 12, that's going to put me on that 40 hours. Yeah. And then instead of hiring people for 40 hours, now you're hiring them for 35. I mean, when's the chaos going to stop? I mean, there's definitely going to be. So that's what. Do you see where I'm talking about, Jim? Like when I see a casino bill, I don't see any upside for me as a father.
Because right now the people are not being held accountable for their votes and the way they're spending their tax dollars. And so I'm just trying to get up there to restore some accountability and some integrity into the system.
And I love it.
That is great. Jim Pavlik. That's Jim Pavlik. He's a state representative hopeful in the Marshfield Scituate section. We're going to grab off the commercial break. Jim, thank you so much for being on the show.
Thanks. Have a great day. Go get them.
Paul and Brian for having me on.
Okay. Thanks. Pleasure to talk to you.
Bye, guys. Bye.
The South Shore's first choice for live team coverage of breaking news, emergency traffic, severe weather, and high school football. 95.9 WATD FM Marshfield and 95.9 WATD.com.
AP Radio News. I'm Ed Donahue. People in Fort Kent, Maine, worried about Ebola, won't be seeing much of Casey Hickox. The nurse who treated Ebola patients in West Africa says even though she won't be quarantined, she will not be out in public a lot. On NBC's Meet the Press, Hickox says she got her message out by fighting the quarantine.
The goal was to make sure that we are again talking about science and not politics.
Hickox now says she will respect the wishes of town residents and avoid going to town during her 21-day incubation period. Also in Maine, in Portland, David Bragdon Sr. fears his son, David Jr., is among the victims of a deadly apartment house fire in Portland.
Democratic Party Chair.
We Facebooked this past week. Said we loved each other. We always do.
5 people were killed in Maine. The cause of the fire and identity of the victims remains a mystery. Both parties are putting in a lot of work in campaigning with 2 days left to go until Election Day.
Democratic Party Chair, Florida Congresswoman Debbie Wasserman Schultz, tells ABC's This Week that the goal is to get people to the polls.
We've focused on making sure that we bring our numbers up for voters who didn't cast ballots in 2010 but voted for the president in 2008 and 2012.
Reince Priebus, head of the Republican Party, also on ABC's This Week, says the latest polls showed GOP candidates ahead in a number of key Senate races.
Montana, West Virginia, South Dakota. I haven't even talked about Alaska, Louisiana, and then we're going to see what's going to happen in North Carolina, New Hampshire.
The Republicans need a net gain of 6 seats to take the majority in the Senate. Tim McGuire, Washington.
Kenya's Wilson Kipsang and Mary Katani are the men's and women's winners at the New York City Marathon. Indiana University says sophomore basketball player Devin Davis is improving after being struck by a teammate's car and suffering a head injury that happened early yesterday. This is AP Radio News.
202, 95.9, WATD 32, and snow still around the South Shore. It's going to continue into the night. Here's Mike Redden.
Good afternoon, everyone. For this afternoon, we'll have rain falling heavily at times. The rain may briefly mix with or change to a period of wet snow before ending. Expect a high temperature around 42 degrees as the wind blows in from the northwest at 15 to 30 miles per hour, with gusts as high as 50 miles per hour. Tonight, we'll have clearing skies. It'll be windy and cold, with temperatures falling to a low near 30. For your Monday, we'll enjoy a good deal of sunshine. It'll be breezy and unseasonably cool, with a high temperature in the middle 40s. For Tuesday, we'll have a blend of sun and clouds, becoming milder with a high in the middle 50s, and the outlook for Wednesday will have increasing cloudiness. It'll be unseasonably mild with a high temperature near 60 degrees. For WATD, I'm meteorologist Mike Redden.
Hi, everybody. It's Joe Walsh. You're listening to my buddy Brian Stratton on Friends with Benefits, WATD.
My name's Paul Kearney, and I'm a small business owner and father of three here in the South Shore, and I'm concerned with the negative effects that casinos bring to our communities. Did you know within a 30-mile radius of a casino that crime goes up 100%, domestic violence goes up 42%, suicides go up, depression goes up, addiction goes up, divorces go up, and seniors are swindled out of their retirements? And local aid gets cut. That means firefighters, police officers, teachers, the people who keep us safe. Can we afford casinos? Is this what we want to leave to our children? I'm asking everyone to join me and vote yes on question 3. Stop the mess and repeal the casino deal. Call me personally at 781-248-8630. That's 781-248-8630 to find out how you can get involved. Or go to repealthecasinodeal.org and like us on Facebook. Please vote yes on 3 and save our state. Thank you.
The law office of Philip M. Markella is a full-service law firm with a focus on family and divorce law. When your marriage dissolves, Phil's office will help you navigate those often rough waters. They'll represent your interests with respect and compassion. The law office of Philip M. Markella also assists with estate planning, real estate transactions, and adoptions. Get in touch with the law office of Philip M. Markella, 19 Depot Street, Duxbury. Their telephone number, 781-934-7977, 781-934-7977, and on the web at markellalaw.com. That's MARKELLA law.com. Experience the Atlantis Sports Club difference. Atlantis Sports Club and Spas are located throughout Massachusetts, including locations in Braintree, Holbrook, and Hyannis, featuring state-of-the-art cardiovascular and strength training equipment, plus indoor and outdoor pools and full-service spas. Atlantis offers something for everyone. How about Zumba, spinning, and strength training classes, swim lessons for the kids, or a luxurious spa treatment? Your Atlantis membership allows access to all locations. Atlantis Braintree, located off the highway across from the South Shore Plaza, features beautiful indoor and outdoor pools. You'll find the newest Holbrook location next to Stop and Shop with plenty of parking and a spacious floor plan. Take a mini vacation at Atlantis Sports Club and Spa in Hyannis. Play golf, then relax by the resort-style pool. End the day with a relaxing treatment at the spa at Atlantis. Mention this ad and receive 20% off any spa treatment. Experience the Atlantis difference today. Visit AtlantisSportsClubs.com and book your tour today. Impressions Detailing of Duxbury is your #1 source for auto detailing on the South Shore. Owner Mike Ferreira and his staff have years of auto detailing experience. Located next to Duxbury Motorworks at 1474 Tremont Street in Duxbury. Impressions Detailing also provides window tinting and headlight restoration. They service sedans, small SUVs, and large SUVs or trucks. Contact Impressions Detailing at 781-934-2935 or by email at impressionsdetail@yahoo.com. That telephone number again, 781-934-2935. Impressions Detailing of Duxbury. Be a part of the show. 781-837-4900.
I'm going around the country. I'm trying to get as many people as I can not to get married. I promise never to get married. I've been married, and I'm just trying to help. Okay? So here, has never been married? You never been married? What's your name? Michael? Well, Michael, if you ever think about getting married, if you ever think you've met the right woman, you want to settle down, change your life, you do me a favor, Mike? Remember this face. Because if you get married, Mike, that's going to be your face every day. It's the face of every married man. He wakes up in the morning. It's the truth, man. He wakes up in the morning, he goes to the mirror, he looks in it and goes, "Rah! Ah! What did I do to my life? It's true, folks.
And the number one reason your woman's always mad, fellas, the number one reason your woman is pissed, because you ain't her first choice. Fellas, you ever catch your woman just looking at you, but not saying nothing? In her mind, she's thinking, how did I end up with this ugly mother? Oh, Lord, this mother ugly and stupid. I had a good man and I blew it. Damn, Lord, kill my man. Kill him, please. Kill him while I still look good enough to get something new. Please kill this mother. Now, strike him. Strike him. If you out there, Lord, strike this mother dead.
95.9 WATD FM, the sweet sounds of Chuck Mangione. I love that guy. Do you remember him in the 70s? You don't? Come on.
No.
He was that dude, he wore that hat, late 70s, only played instrumental. He was a trumpet player. Back then you could get away with that. You could be an instrumentalist and be a recording star.
Right.
Not anymore,
show.
Folks.
No.
Not anymore. He's not good looking enough. He's playing a trumpet. I mean, are you kidding me? In the year 2014, the record buying audience will tell that guy where to put that trumpet.
Yeah, that's
they
right.
don't want it. A trumpet? What's that?
No. Today it's all about. Well, country music is pretty good. I mean,
but there's no trumpet in it.
Yeah, there's definitely no trumpet.
It's more like jazz and whatnot. 95.9 WATD, Friends with Benefits, the Sunday edition from 1 to 3. Brian Stratton here with Paul Kearney from Atlanta Sports Clubs. And Paul, we're up against it with the elections, of course, and the ballot questions. And of course, this is a big time of year for Atlanta Sports Clubs, too.
Yeah,
I mean, with the holidays coming and people, they're starting to look in the mirror a little longer in the morning.
Well, it's
the days are getting shorter.
The days are getting shorter. You got to get. That's the thing. The depression comes in. Seasonal depression.
It does.
Matter of fact, we did a show. If you remember, I think it was 2 years ago, and
we did.
We were down at the Toys of Tots. And
we talked about seasonal depression.
And everybody's partying, having a good time. And Brian's like, "Oh yeah, we got to shut this down. We got the radio show." I said, "Great. What are we talking about?" He said, "Seasonal depression."
That's right. Everybody needs to. Everybody needs to.
Let's shut this
know
down.
about this. But it is true.
Yeah.
That sunlight. The dark kind of. It affects a lot of people's moods.
Right. And that's why it's a good idea to stay healthy, work that stress off, get up early, exercise, and stay in shape. I mean, that's a huge part. And a lot of it, Brian, as we both know, it's nutrition.
Nutrition's huge, and exercise is huge.
And breakfast, back to the basics. Breakfast in the morning. Even if you start off with an egg, which is good for memory, and maybe some granola, a little bit of yoga.
No question.
Settle the stomach down a little with the probiotic.
Easy for you to say.
Yeah.
But I'll tell you, and from being from knowing the people at Atlanta Sports Clubs, down at Braintree and Hyannis and Danvers and all those places, they specialize in this. This is what they do for a living. And you've seen people just just kind of come
Families.
in and transform their whole life.
I've seen families lose 100 pounds.
Yeah,
I mean, it's really one of the exciting things for me to be in the business is when you see somebody first come into one of the clubs and, you know, they look around, they're a little nervous, and you get them on the treadmill and they're holding on from dear life, and you got to kind of slap their hands and get them off the treadmill. And, you know, 3 weeks later, they walk in and they're like, "Hey, Paul, how you doing?" I'm like, "Who are you?"
Yes.
Wow. Yeah. And you see that with kids too. I mean, the biggest thing is if you're having a hard problem with one of your teenage daughters, and you know, it's really difficult for them at their state of their life. So the best thing to do is to try to involve yourself and do something like work out together. Go and do a class together with your daughter. I'm going to tell you, that would make you so much stronger relationship when she sees you there, you know, sweating it out with her. And we've seen that a lot too. Mothers and daughters, and fathers and daughters, and fathers and sons. And it's a great way to bring it out. And, you know, especially with our clubs, we're full service clubs. So you can both swim in the pool. We have hot tubs. You can get on the treadmill. We can do a class. So there's so many different opportunities for families to get involved and start being active together, because that's the key. It's about being active and celebrating food and eating the right nutritious food without preservatives. And
it's a responsibility. It's really, at the end of the day, it's being responsible. Everything in moderation, of course, but exercise. That's one of those things that, as long as you're not getting injured, there's no moderation for exercise. You can go out 3 times a day and do it as much as you want.
Right.
I see joggers around my neighborhood. They're out sometimes twice a day morning. They before work and then after work at night.
I don't know how they do that.
I know, but now it's getting freezing.
Yeah. So that's the other
colder
thing
it gets
too.
Is get into the gym, get on the treadmill, get into the pool. You got a great pool in Braintree too.
Yeah. The pool is a great way, especially for some folks that are just starting out. It's really good on the joints, especially a lot of the older folks.
Yeah.
The other thing is too is when you're running outside, it's actually bad for your. It's that asphalt, the pounding on the joints.
Yeah.
We have at the club, we have treadmills with shocks on them so that they do that. The other one I suggest is the elliptical, because there's no pounding on the joints. So you're doing upper body and lower body at the same time. You do 15, 20 minutes of that.
Sure.
A day, you know, every other day you do your upper body one day and lower body the next. You know, you don't have to be a gym rat. You don't. You just do what, 30, 40 minutes a day, and you basically eat right. You should be fine.
There's no question about it, Paul. And Atlantis Sports Clubs is the place to go. I think gift certificates for Christmas presents.
Absolutely. We have a awesome gentleman that told me the other day, he's been with us for 10 years. 10 years ago, he just lost his wife, God bless him. And I think it was 62 years of marriage. And what keeps him going is the club. He comes in every day, and his kids bought it for him 10 years ago.
Well, like I tell people, too, in the wintertime, you have 2 choices. You can go to the bar and drink, or you can go out exercise in the gym. And I prefer, and you and I go to the gym quite a bit together.
Yeah.
It's just a way to be social without having to be at a bar and taking all those extra calories that we don't really need.
And spend $60 or $50.
The money, right.
I mean, you go to a gym, I mean, it's $2 a day. You get a towel, a hot tub, a pool. You use all the shampoo. It's like, folks that come every day to my club, we don't make any money on them. God bless them. But it's like they really get the value for the dollar. And also, too, some of the insurance companies are paying $150 for joining.
Okay. Yep. I'm going to do a giveaway right now, because I found in my old bag a Cancun Mexican restaurant, which is, speaking of bars and restaurants, a $25 gift card to Cancun Mexican restaurant in Kingston, Massachusetts, which is exit 9.
Exit 9? After 10. Yeah, heading towards the Cape. Right up there on the right off the highway.
Right. So this is a $25 gift card, 781-837-4900. That's 781-837-4900. Call in and say hi. We'll take the caller number 2. 781-837-4900 for a $25 gift card free to Cancun Mexican restaurant. It's all yours.
You know, that's a great diet too, the Mexican diet with the
pretty good stuff.
Pinto beans and the rice. And
sure.
Yeah, I mean, we had, do you remember we had the gentleman from Feed Hunger?
Yes, and New England Hunger.
Yeah. He that's what they basically teach people how to eat.
Yeah, that's right.
And for less money. And that Mexican diet's an excellent diet.
Well, they had the rice and the beans and the corn. Yeah. And the phone number again is 781-837-4900. Our buddy Andrew Devine just stepped in the studio. Hey, Andrew.
Hey, how's it going?
Good to see you again. Andrew is a graduate of Curry College.
Yes.
What was it? Broadcasting communications?
Communications, yeah. I worked at the radio station there a lot and got a lot of good feedback from them. So that was a lot of fun.
Yeah, great experience. So you're actually the only real pro in this room right now.
I wouldn't say that, but thank you.
Well, we're kind of like, what is it, New England Tractor Trailer School. It's like on-the-job experience.
Well, that's how it kind of was, too, in college. You know, you just kind of... What I loved about my school was they were so inclusive, and they just wanted to get everybody in there, and I was kind of on-the-job training as well, so that was fun. Yeah. So I don't think we're that different.
That's great.
No, but it's funny. We got a
winner?
No, I don't know. We'll let Tim do that. But basically, when we started this show, it was a very abrupt. Like, I've never been a DJ or a talk show host or whatever. It's one of those things that, here's the flashlight, go in the dark woods and find the trail.
Figure it out. Yeah.
Figure it out. Fall on your face for a couple months, and let's see if you're still interested.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely.
Almost 3 years later.
Yeah. No question. So Andrew, are you political?
I can be at times, yeah.
You can be at times.
Yeah.
How does this stuff like Bottle Bill? What is your interest in any of this stuff? That now, one of the ballot questions, which I'm interested in, and being a 24-year-old kid again, I remember being there. I had a small child at the time, and you're single and you don't have a child yet. But I started as I had kids getting really political because...
absolutely.
It's all these rules take shape, and your kids have to live in a world now with this kind of dynamic. But the bottle thing, I'm really curious. What is that? Question 1?
Question 2.
Question 2. Right.
Yeah.
And good for you to know this.
Yeah, absolutely.
So you're registered to vote.
I am registered to vote. I was at a music festival when I was 18, and I passed by a tent, and they're like, "You want to register to vote?" And I was like, yeah, because it was 2008. I could vote in that presidential election, so I was very excited to do that.
Hey, kid, you want a beer and you want to register how to vote too?
Yeah. Good for you. That's impressive to even know that you know all the questions.
Well, I know most of the the questions.
When you think about something like you don't even have children yet, but do you see that future down the road, like with casinos, say? Do you think that'd be good for your kids to have that? Because like Brian and I and our grandfathers never had it. We've never had it here in the state. Ever.
Yeah.
So when you're voting for that, are you seeing like past your hand, or are you seeing like, oh, okay, it'd be a good time to take a girl up there for a weekend?
Oh, no. I mean, I try and think of the future as much as humanly possible with that sort of thing. Like with question 2, where I work, we're trying to promote no on question 2. I think it's silly personally, but that's just me. I do try and think about the future and how it's going to impact, me and my future as well. I mean, I do have a girlfriend, and I do try and think about, how that's going to impact us in the future, because I do see a long-term relationship with this girl for a long time. Yeah,
because you do tend to get a lot more conservative when you do have children. I mean, it's not a Republican or Democrat thing. It's just that your values kind of change, and you really got to foresee the future more than when I was a voter. I always registered. I registered when I was 18 too, and I've always voted. I've been into politics since I was like 7 years old. I mean, I just always interested in it, and one of the things that you have to do is you have to vote. I mean, some people don't even. You have these veterans that died for us to vote, and you've got all these people that I don't want to get political. Well, what do you mean you don't want to get political? You don't want to vote? Like,
Oh, I know. It's absolutely ridiculous because I feel like it's our right to. I mean, it is our right to vote, but we need to. You know, I being young, I have a lot of people who are like, "Oh, it doesn't even matter," and I'm like, "Of course it matters.
Right.
We need to. You know, it's our democratic process. We need to go out and vote. We need to exercise our right to do that." And I just find it silly that a lot of people don't do that.
Yeah, it is silly. No question about it. I mean, basically, this country, it's given to us. You know, some countries you have to fight for it. Some countries you don't even get an opportunity to do that.
We fight for it every day. We have people out there serving our country that are fighting for our right to vote. And they're out there in the snow and the cold and the freezing rain or whatever, protecting us. So we should, at least Get out there and try to get educated on it. I got to admit, I think a lot of people are involved and engaged in this election coming up. I think it's going to have a strong turnout.
I do agree. It's a very important election, especially for the state of Massachusetts. With our new governor coming in,
Right.
whoever that might end up being, and we really need to start paying attention to that sort of. Well, continue to pay attention.
What are the hard numbers here?
Here's the thing, too.
What are the numbers?
Having a one-party rule, I mean, absolute power corrupts absolutely, and that's what we've been having here. Is not any checks and balances. It's basically, I feel like the governor came in with the casino bill. He said there was going to be 50,000 jobs. Now there's 10,000 jobs. He wouldn't want it in his backyard. Like, are you kidding me? And this guy thinks he's going to run for president. Excuse me. First question, Mr. Potential candidate Duvall Patrick. Well, you said you're going to do 50,000 jobs, and it came out to 10,000.
Mm-hmm.
Any CEO, I would have fired him. I mean, you're off 80%. What if the GM did that, or Ford Motor Company came out and said, I'm going to build 50,000 cars next month, and came out with 10? Would you fire him? That's the first problem that we have.
No, I
There's
get
no
it.
accountability.
Well, the misinformation.
The misinformation. This whole thing with the
Right.
casino bill. They're doing job fairs for jobs that they're not going to have for 3 years.
Which is
so
ridiculous.
What do we do?
Why are we doing a job fair?
Why are we doing a
for
job
2018?
fair for
Yeah.
2018? I mean,
Right,
if that's
right.
not a scam, if people can't see this as a scam, and I got to be honest too, the fact that some of these unions,
that all that is a pep rally.
Yeah.
That's all that job fair is.
But it's misinformation. They
No,
spent
but it's a
18
pep
million.
rally for the future. They're basically getting people excited about the notion of maybe potentially having jobs in 3 or 4 years, where the people aren't sitting and looking and throwing water on their own face and going, "Wait, this is going to happen for." Yeah, I might be so broke that I'd be on welfare by then.
Right.
You know.
Right. And that alludes me to the poor. I mean, basically, when are we going to stop trying to make money off poor people? I mean, how can you make money off where there's no money? I mean, really, I mean, that's just, and we just, to be able to just try to get even more money out of the poor by promising them these false jobs, $27,000 a year jobs. How many people here think that union American workers are going to be cleaning these hotels?
It's probably not going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Probably not going to happen.
Nope.
No union jobs there.
Well, let's go to the governor. It's obviously, let's get some hard numbers.
Well, they got Baker up by 9 points.
Do they really?
Yeah.
Because last I heard it was a dead heat. So
this is really going to be close.
It is really going to be close. I'm very interested in this.
This is why, to me, it's so exciting. It's like watching a football game in the fourth quarter. The game's tied 20-20. The ball's at midfield, and there's like 15 seconds left. It's that exciting right now.
Mm-hmm.
To me,
it shouldn't even be close, though. Charlie Baker should have won this thing.
Well, that's in your opinion. I mean, plus you sway toward the right. The people that sway toward the left don't necessarily feel that way. And we live in this state which sways more
I
to the
just
left.
don't know how anybody could vote for somebody who tried to block the vote of the casino bill. I mean, she tried to block the vote. She used
beside the
taxpayers'
casino
money to
thing,
do it.
beside blocking,
do you know about this?
Yes, I do know about
So
this.
the casino, to repeal the casino, came in and they had enough signatures, and she used taxpayers' money to fight that, and then they had to use $200,000 out of the repeal.
Right.
So right now it's a disadvantage that the gambling industry is spending $17 million to $500,000. It's 24 times the amount of money they're spending. So if they're watching the TVs, none of them are saying casinos. They're not saying that the casino is going to clean up the Monsanto dump yard there. They're not saying that casinos are going to clean up the tornado. Now they got tornadoes and they got firefighters who are going to lose their jobs because the revenue is going to be cut from local aid. So to sit there and see a firefighter, and he shouldn't even be near a uniform, saying he represents firefighters. I mean, that's the worst thing. And say that this is going to bring in jobs. It's going to cost them, those two first responders, they're the first ones that are going to lose money from the casinos. I mean, it's amazing. False advertising.
What other acts do you have to grind with Martha Coakley?
Well, that one's a big one.
It's
I mean,
big.
if I'm a
It's big,
veteran
but-
or somebody, we just talked about my right to vote. She tried to take that away from me. Are you kidding me? For me, that's And remember, I grew up with Democrat parents. Both of them were union members. I 103 IBEW, they're the ones that actually we're fighting against right now is my mother's union. My mother would be rolling in her... She's a Christian woman who would never want her union to support gambling. And to see them do this is... terrible.
Hey, can I do another? I'm going to do another giveaway because I got another gift card to Cancun Mexican Restaurant. Another $25 gift card. 781-837-4900. That's 781-837-4900. Caller 2. Another $25 gift card to Cancun Mexican Restaurant. And that is in Kingston, Massachusetts, right off of Exit 9. Some of the best Mexican food you'll ever get. What do you think, Andrew?
Oh yeah, I've been there. I've been there before a couple of times. I love it there.
It's really good.
It is
very, very priced very well.
Mm-hmm.
And
guys, I want to play something.
Cinco de Mayo is every day when you're.
Absolutely, and I believe today is the Day of the Dead in Mexico.
Is it really?
Yes, I think it is.
Wow, what a coincidence.
I know, right?
781-837-4900.
But I want to play this. This is just the social impact of casinos and what it did to this family. Just want to listen up for this.
Okay.
Oh, having a little technical difficulty here.
Yeah, having a little trouble with that right there. It's all right.
No, it's just... We got to get you guys to do this.
Well, I'm not terribly great with technology, but I try my best.
Why don't we get the winner of the gift card contest on the air?
All right, let's do it.
Tim, we got the winner on the air. Oh, it's Bob. Yes. Bob from Pembroke. Hey, Bob, how are you? He's coming up. Hey, Bob. Dead air. Andrew, how do we deal with this?
Well, normally I just talk a lot about whatever I was doing. And then I stumble over my words and say a lot, but...
Everything's cool. Yeah. Hey, Bob, how are you? Yeah, we just have a bad connection. It must be the blizzard today.
I'm guessing so. I woke up today and found snow on my car, and I was like, really? This early? I mean...
You know, it's still, if you look out the window, it's still accumulating.
I know. Well, it's ridiculous. I'm going to have to brush off my car again.
Well, we'll tag on to Bob when he gets in a better cell. Are you there, Bob?
Yeah, I am.
Oh, there you are. How you doing, Bob?
Good, thank you.
Hey, what are you going to be voting Tuesday for the elections?
I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
I said, are you looking forward to the elections Tuesday?
Oh, yes, definitely.
Yeah, which one is on your mind the most?
I'm leaning towards Baker.
You're leaning towards Baker. All right. You have three happy guys in this on the round table right now, and Tim might even be happy with that one. I don't know. I didn't ask him, but we'll say for now. But how about on the questions on the ballot? Do you have any horse in the race in that one?
I have the booklet they sent me, so I'm studying that pretty well. It kind of breaks down everything for Tuesday. You know?
It's a little confusing, don't you think, Bob? Like you got to vote yes for no and no for yes. What? Have you figured that one out?
I'm sorry, you're breaking up a little bit. I'm on my cell phone.
All right, well, tell you what. Let's get Bob's address. We'll give that to Tim. Congratulations on the gift card.
Thank you.
We hope you enjoy Cancun.
Okay, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bob.
Bye now.
A lot of but that's okay. It's just, when the weather goes like this.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. It's absolutely ridiculous. I mean, it even messes with the Wi-Fi in my house.
Does it really?
A little bit, but not too much to make a terrible...
It's messing with my Wi-Fi computer right now.
I know.
In studio.
It's ridiculous. And,
okay, well...
whatever.
We're just going to have to live with it.
Yep.
But anyways, so some of the other races, we have Jim Pavlik against Jim Cantwell, which is right here in Marshfield, Scituate. Now, Andrew, you're Norwell. Do you have a state rep race there? Or is it unopposed?
Nope. You got Mrs. Nyman and DeCoste.
Right. Is it DeCoste or
DeCoste? Yeah, I heard he's a good guy. He's he's a selectman in Norwell.
Yes.
I think he's also a veteran.
I think so, too.
We got a lot of good veterans running right now.
Absolutely.
So, is there a lot of anticipation right now, and or is it not such a big deal? Or?
I haven't heard a lot of things from Norwell recently. I've been I work in Pembroke, so I don't spend a lot of time. It used to be that I worked in Norwell, and I got to talk to a lot of local individuals who would be very passionate about it. But because I work in a different town, I haven't been hearing a lot from the social circle.
That's an interesting district because you have Rockland and Norwell tied together.
It is interesting.
That is. You gotta actually win Rockland to get that. In Hanover, parts of Hanover. Correct?
Absolutely.
Because that's where Mrs. Nyman's from.
Right.
Brian, I just want to play this. This is what, if I could get this.
Yeah, we need to get our Wi-Fi, with this blizzard.
All right, here we go. Well, our Wi-Fi is tough.
We were a normal middle-class family with 3 daughters. We had a good life. Scott was a pillar in the community and a successful businessman, but Scott started going to the casinos. Before long, he was hundreds of thousands of dollars in debt. On the morning of August 13th, Scott left our home to drive to a park where he took his life. If it can happen to me and my girls, it can happen to you and your family. It's a vicious industry. By voting yes on 3, you'll protect your family and your community.
I mean, wow.
And you got that off of the Facebook page, right?
Yeah, that's on the Repeal Casino.
Repeal the Casino vote?
Yeah, it's Repeal the Casino Facebook page, and then it's repealthecasino.org. But Brian, doesn't that tell you, like, honestly?
No, I mean, there's story upon story. I see that because I did like that particular website, and it's story upon story upon story about families being destroyed, of course.
Right.
I mean, there's both sides of the ledger, but that one especially, when you see a
successful family man who, and that's the difference. Like, what people don't understand is, like, the lottery. I mean, how can a rich, successful guy lose money on the lottery? I mean, he's going to sit there with, give me 50 on this, 10 on this. But when you sit down at that table, and a lot of it basically is the slots that I'm more concerned about than anything else. Yeah. But you're going to have the guy that needs that victory. It's that consistent win. So I was watching a thing up on 60 Minutes, and they said that the casinos want the slots. That's where the penny slots. You think you're winning, but you're actually losing. And they had situations where they brought in some healthcare workers, and people were like literally addicted, like, or as if they were on crack cocaine. Like, they couldn't shake the friend. That's their table. That's their machine. And, is that what we want for our seniors to go through? Or is this what we want to bring? And instead of spending time with their grandchildren, she's going to be stuck in front of a computer, just dumping pennies and dimes and quarters and nickels of her life savings that she could spend time with their kid. Is that what we're voting for?
The good news is I think it is an aberration when you see seniors. I think it's a small percentage, but when they go over the cliff, they go over the cliff.
Yeah,
right?
They're more of a loyal. They have that loyal following.
It's a small demographic, but
yeah.
Regardless if it's a small demographic, if it's 10%, it's too many.
Right.
It's too much.
Mm-hmm.
Right. And I do see it. I mean, if you go down to, which my band performs at Twin River Casino all the time in Lincoln, Rhode Island, and we've performed at the Wolf's Den.
And you know what? That's
Mohegan
not
Sun.
far. How far is that? How far is
it's
Rhode
not
Island?
far. It's about an hour and 15 minutes.
Okay. So if you really want to gamble, you just get in your car and drive an hour.
You know what? It's better when it's further.
Yeah, exactly.
Because then you do it less.
And all the,
you know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely. You have to spend on gas. You have to get there. You have to get home.
You got to plan. You got to plan this out.
Exactly.
Right. Now it's just go by and just drop all you can take the train in.
Well, it's funny because when I've gone there, I've met people who are at blackjack tables, and sometimes I'd go down there just to try it. I'd never done it before up until the last couple of years because it's kind of fun for a little bit, for a half hour. It's entertainment.
Right.
It's just a little entertainment for me. And I would talk to guys, and they'd be like, "Yeah, I live a couple towns over," and they'd tell me it was bad news. Because, like they were admitting that it was just too close.
Exactly.
And it just becomes addictive because of the radius of where they live.
That's why, honestly, if they were to come up with one in Springfield and said, look, we're all going to go up there. It's a convention center. We're going to do our conventions up there. We're going to support that local neighborhood.
One-stop shop.
We're going to have outreach programs for the small businesses that live around there, that we're going to, help their small businesses and try to get it. So, because mostly, the biggest thing is, like in Foxwood, is there's no, and everybody admits, the only places they go is Dunkin' Donuts and the gas station. Mm-hmm. They don't support any local businesses around there. They just go to the big castle in the sky, and that's what I see it as. It's almost like Mr. Potterville. He's going to try to take and swindle everybody's money, and then they're going to break it down to the fat cats. They're going to take it and bring it over to junk bonds, and we've seen this time after time. So for them to even make the argument that it's a jobs bill and they just laid off 9,000 people in New Jersey last month, how do you say that? It's even Donald Trump said it's a loser.
Well, yeah, he's bailed out of a few himself, hasn't he?
He's gone. Yeah, he saw that boat coming years ago, and God bless him, he figured it out. I'm no big fan of Donald Trump, but I mean, if he says it the way it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, it's an oversaturated. It doesn't make anything, and we're doing. The thing is, McDonald's isn't doing well right now, and that's because of people being educated on how bad the food is.
Right. And you know what? To their credit, and I don't even know it's their credit. I think it's more they're grooming their clientele.
Right.
But they put out the calories now. They put out the fat. They put out every piece of nutritional information on the menu, so hey, this meal that you are purchasing,
right,
lock, stock, and barrel, has 930 calories.
Right. They're not selling it.
But they did that, I think, more to make it look like they care than they actually care.
Right. They have done well. They're talking to organic now, maybe going to organic because
they have to do something
if they want to compete now in today's market, and that goes to my point.
Right.
We're trying to do everything local here, and especially here on the South Shore, and right on this station. How local can you get than this station here? We've got food shows, and Joe Malone has a show. It's just a good local way of doing. We have farmer markets. We all come out and support them.
Right.
And now, we're not going to do that. It's going to be like, this is going to hurt small businesses. Because why wouldn't we take Springfield and let's make that manufacturing up there where we do all manufacturing, where we buy more goods from Massachusetts. If we want to talk about like the Commonwealth, whatever's good for you, Brian, what's good for all of us, I mean, that's the way you got to do it.
Oh, absolutely. We got another visitor to the show. Hey, how you doing, Joe?
Hey, how are you guys?
We'll get you on the headphones.
Sounds great.
Another first timer on the air.
Yeah, he just came up.
Well, Andrew's not a first timer, but he is at WATD.
First time on this show.
Joe, Andrew.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you.
Joe Coletti from Duxbury. How are you, my friend?
Excellent. How are you, Brian?
Good. The mic's right there. If you don't mind speaking into it, that would be great. So thanks for coming by. Have you been listening to all this election talk?
Yeah, sounds great.
How are you feeling? You excited about Tuesday here?
Very, very excited. Yeah. Sounds like you guys have done your homework.
Who's going to be the next governor?
Ooh, jeez. I don't know. Who do you think?
Well, I mean, they say it's neck and neck. I think it's probably going to be Charlie Baker, probably.
I think it's going to be Baker.
I do too, and it's not just because that's what I want. I think we just need that feeling.
Yeah, it's not so much that he's such a great candidate, but we need balance. We need balance. We need a Republican, a Democrat, some kind of balance. Having a Democratic Senate, Democratic reps, and a Democratic governor.
I mean, if I have my, I like Jeff McCormick, but
yeah, me too.
I mean,
and Tracy Post.
I'm a big fan of Jeff McCormick's.
I am too.
I think we should all vote for him.
I do too.
Just write him in.
But the problem is,
he's in.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's independent.
No, but the problem with guys like McCormick are, he's not going to win because he doesn't have enough money and he doesn't have that duende. But he has a lot of great ideas. But the problem, what he's doing is he's really sucking up Baker's votes. So to me, that's the problem.
Yeah.
It's like he's more of kind of leeching a certain demographic of that kind of vote.
Right.
Which actually favors Martha Coakley. It favors her, having him in there.
Right, because she's going to get all the women's vote. And you know what? I'll be honest.
Maybe
with you,
not all the women's vote.
Not all the women's.
No,
right. It
no.
shouldn't. And it shouldn't even be saying that. Like, just because she's a woman, people are going to vote for her. Because you're a woman, I'm a woman, I'm going to vote for you.
Well, we already knew that Sarah Palin, that didn't work.
No.
Nope.
No.
Correct.
Yeah, I guess.
Which to me was one of the biggest blunders of all time.
Yeah, I don't think he had a chance of beating
McCain.
Yeah, I didn't think so. Yeah.
Well, he had a lot better chance without her.
Honestly, I thought
don't you think guys are going to pick about that?
I could agree with that. No, I was very excited when she first came out.
Well, I was too. Did she open her mouth?
Yeah, I learned a little bit more about her, and I was like,
Everybody was at the time. It seemed like on paper that was going to be what pushes him over the top. 2 weeks into it, she starts doing all this press.
Yeah.
And then the Saturday Night Live skits start to come out. Like, oh my God, McCain's toast. And we never heard from him again. Where is he now?
He was doing that bomb Iran stuff. I would never have voted for him anyways. I mean,
but listen, he did have a contingent. He had a little loyal following, and it was spreading.
At
the time he named her his running mate, he was on the, things were going up for him.
Mm-hmm.
And then it plateaued, and then about a week or two into it, when she started opening her mouth, it was bad. I wanted it to work. It just didn't work.
We all wanted it to work.
I wanted that to work.
Yeah.
Believe me. What was the alternative?
Well, I don't even remember what any alternative.
I thought Joe Biden did a good job too, and he's just
Joe Biden.
I think.
Oh please.
Joe Biden's a smart man. I mean, the guy he's
a goof. He's awful.
Yeah, you think so?
I do.
I think he's doing a pretty good job, actually. I think he had the right word with Iraq to divide it up into three places: the Kurds, the Sunnis, and the Shiites. That was a smart move. No one listened to him. I think the guy's sharp. Yeah, and I met him too.
Well, he's on his way out. I don't know if you know that.
Yeah,
A couple of years, you'll never see him
run
again.
for president.
Mm-hmm.
He could go right. We'll have him on when he does his book. He does his book tour of how it was to be vice president. But
how boring was it to be vice president?
Exactly. Hey, we got to jump off the commercial break. You're listening to 95.9 WATD, Friends with Benefits. We'll be right back after these messages.
Friends with Benefits will return on 95.9 WATD.
Giggity, giggity, giggity goo. Stick around.
Experience the Atlantis Sports Club difference. Atlantis Sports Club and Spas are located throughout Massachusetts, including locations in Braintree, Holbrook, and Hyannis, featuring state-of-the-art cardiovascular and strength training equipment, plus indoor and outdoor pools and full-service spas. Atlantis offers something for everyone. How about Zumba, spinning, and strength training classes, swim lessons for the kids, or a luxurious spa treatment? Your Atlantis membership allows access to all locations. Atlantis Braintree, located off the highway across from the South Shore Plaza, features beautiful indoor and outdoor pools. You'll find the newest Holbrook location next to Stop and Shop with plenty of parking and a spacious floor plan. Take a mini vacation at Atlantis Sports Club and Spa in Hyannis. Play golf, then relax by the resort-style pool. End the day with a relaxing treatment at the spa at Atlantis. Mention this ad and receive 20% off any spa treatment. Experience the Atlantis difference today. Visit AtlantisSportsClubs.com and book your tour today.
Thanksgiving is coming, so are Thanksgiving guests. And right now, the Home Depot can help roll out a warm welcome with new carpet. So let's make home for the holidays even better. As in 10% off carpet purchased with your Home Depot credit card and guaranteed 7-day installation better. Let's do this. 10% off and guaranteed installation by Thanksgiving. More saving, more doing. That's the power of the Home Depot. Valid through November 5th, U.S. only, subject to credit approval. Terms and conditions apply. See store for details.
Hurry into PetSmart October 31st through November 2nd to save 30% on thousands of items like apparel, collars, leashes, beds, toys, and treats. And buy one, get one 50% off on hundreds of pet holiday toys and treats, all with our unbeatable price guarantee. If you find it for less, we'll match it. PetSmart. Restrictions apply. See PetSmart.com for details. Offers valid through November 2nd, 2014 on selected items with your Pet Perks card.
Impressions Detailing of Duxbury is your #1 source for auto detailing on the South Shore. Owner Mike Ferreira and his staff have years of auto detailing experience. Located next to Duxbury Motorworks at 1474 Tremont Street in Duxbury. Impressions Detailing also provides window tinting and headlight restoration. They service sedans, small SUVs, and large SUVs or trucks. Contact Impressions Detailing at 781-93 781-934-2935 or by email at impressionsdetail@yahoo.com. That telephone number again, 781-934-2935. Impressions Detailing of Duxbury. The law office of Philip M. Markella is a full-service law firm with a focus on family and divorce law. When your marriage dissolves, Phil's office will help you navigate those often rough waters. They'll represent your interests with respect and compassion. The law office of Philip M. Markella also assists with estate planning, real estate transactions, and adoptions. Get in touch with the law office of Philip M. Markella, 19 Depot Street, Duxbury. Their telephone number, 781-934-7977, 781-934-7977, and on the web at markellalaw.com. That's MARKELLA law.com.
I'm Arthur Boyle, a selectman from the town of Pembroke, and I'm supporting Josh Cutler for state representative. Not just for his experience in public service, but because he's kept his promises. He's proven he can reach across the aisle when it comes to solving local issues. I'm proud to stand with Josh Cutler for state representative in Duxbury, Hanson, and Pembroke.
Hello, my name is Michelle Burt. I'm an independent voter, a Pembroke selectman, a mom, a wife, and a realtor. I will be voting for Josh Cutler on November 4th. In just his first term, Josh has quickly proven himself to be a valued and trusted partner at the State House. His perseverance, energy, and hard work have paid off for Pembroke.
Hello, my name is Willard Bolter. I currently serve as a member of the Pembroke Board of Selectmen. I also served as a police officer for 44 years, including a year as chief before I retired. Please join me on November 4th and vote for Josh Cutler as our state rep. He has been a very hard worker and a man of his word. We need someone who cares and is easy to contact. He is the best candidate for Pembroke, Hanson, and Duxbury.
Paid for by the committee to elect Josh Cutler.
My name's Paul Kearney, and I'm a small business owner and father of 3 here in the South Shore, and I'm concerned with the negative effects that casinos bring to our communities. Did you know within a 30-mile radius of a casino that crime goes up 100%, domestic violence goes up 42%, suicides go up, depression goes up, addiction goes up, divorces go up, and seniors are swindled out of their retirements? And local aid gets cut. That means firefighters, police officers, teachers, the people who keep us safe. Can we afford casinos? Is this what we want to leave to our children? I'm asking everyone to join me and vote yes on question 3. Stop the mess and repeal the casino deal. Call me personally at 781-248-8630. That's 781-248-8630 to find out how you can get involved. Or go to repealthecasinodeal.org and like us on Facebook. Please vote yes on 3 and save our state. Thank you.
.959 WATD, Friends with Benefits here, Sunday afternoon. We're back. Hey, Tim, I like the choice of music. That was Boston Peace of Mind.
Oh, I love that.
Our friend Siobhan Magnus was the backup singer on the last tour, which Boston, they just came back from Japan. They're still touring.
Wow.
Those old guys have been around since probably 71, 72.
Awesome band.
Great stuff. Boston. Yep, they toured with Cheap Trick, and Siobhan had a great time. And
Cheap Trick.
Yeah.
All right, now we're talking.
Now we are talking.
Absolutely.
So, anyways, we have we've been talking about a lot of things today, but of course we're up against the 11th hour, the elections Tuesday, the ballot questions. But this will be the last couple of days you'll be hearing from Paul Kearney for a while.
Absolutely.
I mean, I know everybody's in their sleep. They're Paul, yes. No
yes
casinos.
On 3. Yes on
Paul.
3. Yes on 3.
They wake up in a cold sweat at 3 a.m. No casinos.
I get it. Yes, no, but it's no for yes. Just so you know,
it's yes.
It's yes, yes, yes.
You have me confused. They have the state. I wonder if people will go in there confused.
Oh, I think so.
Thinking they're voting for casinos, they'll write yes.
Yeah, but don't they outline that on the ballot? Don't they just say, like, this is what you're voting for? And
I bet you there's some dopes out there that won't read that.
Oh, I'm sure there are.
Right?
Yeah. It's like the poster in, one of my old professor's rooms, when all else fails, read the directions.
But, yeah, that's true.
Well, let's see, and I don't want to, I have a little tinge of ADD, all right? And
we all do, I think. But.
Well, listen to this, and I bet you this doesn't happen to you guys. A little secret of mine is anytime I read something, I tend to read the first couple lines and want to skip through the rest.
Yeah, I
would agree.
Are you guys in that?
Yeah. On the internet, they like to call that TLDR, too long, didn't read.
But it could only be like 6 sentences.
Right.
That's what's so interesting.
It's like you lose your train of thought after the second sentence, which you really have to work hard to get over that. And once you acknowledge it, you can get over it. But it takes,
Well, my thinking
it's your first instinct when you read something is that you skip everything else.
Well, my guess is this. I think that people that read are going to vote yes because they're going to read through it. They're going to repeal. I get it, and hopefully the people that don't read are going to say casinos. Yeah, check it off. I don't know. It's a tricky question, and it might work the other way. People think they're voting no for casinos, and they're actually voting. So I don't know. That's just it's kind of a crazy thing, but. I think it's going to go well for us. I predict that Charlie Baker will be governor. I predict that Maura Healey will be the new Attorney General, which, by the way, she has a statement about casinos where she just doesn't like them. I mean, there's no...
How much you want to bet on this governor? The side bet. This isn't a casino thing.
A little casino bet?
So, no,
what do you say, Joe?
Baker,
I think Baker's going to win.
You think Baker? So if I take Coakley... and she wins, what do I get? What do I get?
I'd say it's 2-1.
Do I get a big porterhouse steak?
No, you get a chance to win. You get the chance to win a sticker on your head.
Yeah. How about tails? Tails I win, heads you lose.
It's it's as bad as casinos are as bad as when you go to the carnival and the guy's trying to get you to play with a basketball and there's like 3 stuffed animals out there. I mean, you're just never going to get it in. I mean, he gets it in every time because he's standing behind the thing.
I love that too. Don't you love that at the fair?
You know what I don't like though?
The rim is basically half the size of a real rim.
Yeah. And it's an oval too.
Yeah. And the guy swishes 9 in a row. He's like, "What's wrong with you, buddy?"
I know.
I was at the worst park in the whole planet. It's called SeaWorld. And if you want to see like people getting just the worst. Anyways, what does that have to do with SeaWorld? There's a guy sitting in the basketball. A woman came over and had put it on a credit card because her 3 little kids won for $20. It's like she just wasted $20. Like they just took $20 from her. For what?
15 minutes of entertainment.
It was 3 seconds, Joe. It was 3 balls. 1 missed, 2 missed, 3 balls.
Yeah, but
$20
the parent,
later. You could sit in front of your garage for 20, but you could have bought. Look what you could have bought the thing for 10.
Try to explain that to your kid in the heat of the moment when you're at the fair.
My son, thank God, he was sitting right next to me, just shaking his head, going, "Daddy, what is wrong with those people?" He's 6.
All right. Well, he's an old soul.
No, he's educated. It's a scam.
Right.
You got to tell people when it's a scam, it's a scam. If you can't see a scam. And again,
well, my kid wants that SpongeBob. I'm sorry, that stuffed SpongeBob. He went by there. He had it at a low.
You can get away with so many things that you don't have to give your child whatever he wants. First of all, you just tell him if it's made in China, I ain't buying it. That's what I do. It saves
all right,
me
Archie.
Just saves me tons of money.
So all right, so Tuesday's the day, Paul, and this is like
Charlie Baker, Karen Polito, Maura Healey. Who else do we get? I hope Tony O'Brien wins. I hope that Jim Palvick wins, and I hope somebody writes in for Garrett Bradley. You can have Mickey Mouse.
He's unopposed, isn't he?
I know, but I'd rather have somebody else.
No, but he's over in Cohasset?
Yeah, Cohasset.
Is that the only?
He's a good friend of mine. I shouldn't say that. I just very disappointed in his for him voting for casinos. I thought that was a vote that I don't think people in my district why would they want that? People in Hingham and Cohasset.
I'll be curious to see what they all think about the gas tax thing.
Well, we're going to get all the numbers. I mean, if he
will
might be right,
will you see all their votes? Will you see how they all voted?
You can see all towns and the way they voted.
Like Jeff Deal too. Can you see what he did?
What he personally voted?
No, you
for?
can't. You can't. But do they say it in the paper?
We'll know if he's right or wrong when he said he would.
He did
vote
say
yes
that. He did say that.
Yeah, we actually got him to switch his vote, and. Yeah.
I wonder how.
We had him taped to the desk. We were going to let him
Another
leave.
like a little extortion here at WATD. I mean, really.
Oh, that's
that poor
funny.
guy.
He's a good man, though. He came in studio.
He's a great man, very articulate.
He came in studio and he spoke for his principles and said that, look, back in the day, he knew that what I know now would have been different. He would have voted different. So, I mean, that says a lot, and that says a lot for a lot of people. I think that, again, this isn't about one casino. It's about 3 casinos. If some people want to come back with one, let's come back with Charlie Baker. Different perspective on where you're going to have your checks and balances when they're not going to put amendments that they can all work for the casinos after a year. I mean, that's just ridiculous. That means that they can go out after a year and work for a casino when they voted for it.
I really wish Charlie had come on the show. He had said I met him personally.
Yeah.
He was all set to come on the show. He had a date. His press secretary had to postpone it, and then they gave me another date. They postponed that one, and at that point, I don't give anybody more than 2 chances.
Right, yeah, Jeff on the show.
I'm not going to chase after my tail.
McCormick on the show.
Jeff McCormick was on the show, and he was, man, spot on.
Right.
Really, and I know that, like I said, he doesn't have the money behind him. He doesn't have all these endorsements or whatnot, but he has a really good plan. And it's unfortunate. Like I said, I think he's going to eat up a lot of Charlie Baker's votes.
Yeah, and I met Charlie a couple times, and he's out there shaking. He is listening to people.
He is. He's a hard worker.
Yeah, and I guess Martha Cookley too. Again, both.
I wish
of them,
he didn't cry.
I wish.
By the way, that was that was a long time ago. That crying thing.
I know. The
you
other
only
thing
got
is
2
they're
more
lucky,
minutes. By the way.
Yeah, but they're lucky they can't make a commercial on that because Charlie would have lost a couple votes on that because he can't recall where it came from. But
really.
Call him for what it was, whatever, who cares? We'll know on Wednesday night.
All right, well, we'd like to thank Paul Kearney, Atlanta Sports Clubs. We'd like to thank Andrew Devine and also Joe Coletti for jumping in.
Thanks,
and
Brian.
Tim McKenney, my favorite.
Thanks, my brother.
My new favorite engineer. All right, you're listening to Friends with Benefits, 95.9 WATD, Brian Stratton. We'll see you guys Wednesday night at 9:30.